Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create this chiseled text effect in Adobe Illustrator. This video is sponsored by Wix. Quickly before we get into the video, I just want to thank Wix for sponsoring this video, and for those of you that don't know what Wix is basically a free online website building platform that allows you to quickly and easily create your own unique looking website. The reason it's so easy to create such a nice website within Wix is down to the amount of different design features that they give to you. So this can be from the hundreds of fonts within the Wix fonts library, or you could alternatively upload your own fonts to help match your own branding, to things like parallax scrolling, which can ultimately brighten up your website and bring it to life rather than it just being a static web page. And there are many more great design features within Wix, but I'd be here all day if I was going to go through and list them all. But yeah, the end result is total creative freedom over the whole website, and this is great not only for designers but for everybody, because this means that people from all sorts of backgrounds can come to Wix and create their own website. You don't have to have design skills or knowledge in order to create your own website with Wix. And just a final note, I do want to say that I do use Wix for my own personal website, and I was using Wix before they ever reached out to me to do any sort of sponsored videos, so I just wanted to make that clear that I do genuinely support Wix and I do think that it's a good service. But yeah, that's enough about Wix, and let's get into the video. So once you've opened Illustrator, you need to set up a document, and we've already got one set up here at 4000 by 4000 pixels, and that's just so we've got a nice big canvas to work with. Once you've got that set up, all you're going to do is hit T on the keyboard to bring up the text tool, and you'll probably write in a word or a phrase or whatever it is, but for the sake of keeping this tutorial short, I'm just going to be doing a single letter. So I'm just going to do a capital letter G, and the font that we're going to be working in is Gotham, and you can use whichever font you like, but I'm just using Gotham because it's a geometric font and it looks good with this style. So I've just gone with Gotham Bold, and from here all I'm going to do is right click and create outlines. So now that we have this, all we're going to do is select it and hit Command C, so we've got this copied to our clipboard, and if you're on PC it's just Control C. And from here all we're now going to do is we're going to add a stroke to it. So we're going to hit down here with this little box with a line through it, and then we're going to fill it in with a stroke. And then up here at the top we're just going to hit these arrows and hold shift at the same time, so this basically bumps up in intervals of 10 rather than 1. So I'm just going to click that and maybe bring it up to, like, let's say 60. I'm quite happy with that. And now what we're going to do is come up to Object and then come down to Expand and just hit OK when this box opens. And then all you're going to do is come over to your Pathfinder window, and if this isn't open, all you've got to do is come up to Window at the top and then come down to Pathfinder. And once that's open, just come down to Shape Modes and hit the first symbol in here, and that basically just merges everything together for you. Once you've got that, all you're going to do is hit Command F or Control F if you're on PC to basically paste the other G over the top. And once you have that, we're going to come back down to the stroke down here, and we're just going to hit these two arrows, which basically just flips that. So the new G that we've just pasted is now just a stroke rather than a fill. And we're just going to click and drag the one from the background, so we just so we can see what we're working on down here with this G. And from here, like I said, you'll probably have a full word, so you might have to ungroup it or take it out of a compound path more than once. So just bear that in mind. So I'm just going to ungroup and then release compound path. So from here, we need to create a center line all the way through, and the first thing that came to mind was do it with a blend tool to create the center point, but because of these straight edges here, it doesn't really work. But the hardest part would be to get the curve. So luckily, we can actually do that. So what we're going to do is select this and then hit C on the keyboard to get the scissors tool. And all we're going to do is hit it at the end of the curves here. So we've sliced them two. We're just going to slice these two, and we're going to join these back together shortly, but this is just so that we can get the center line perfect. Alternatively, you could do it with the pen tool, but this is just to get it perfect. So now what we're going to do is select these two, and you're going to come over to your blend tool over here, and you're just going to click on the two same points on these lines, so like this bottom line here, the bottom point, sorry, and then the bottom point on this line. And you see it's now created a perfect middle point, which is exactly what we needed. So from here, all we're going to do is come back to the selection tool, come up to Object, Expand, and again just hit OK, and then we're going to right click and ungroup that. So now you can see that we have the center path and these two. So what we now need to do is merge these back together. So all we're going to do is get the direct selection tool here and just highlight over these points and hit Command J or Control J on PC, and that just joins those 2 points together. So I'm just going to do all 4 of those so it's all back to one shape. So now we need to finish the center line, and that's actually quite easy because it's just all straight lines. Like a capital letter E, for example, it's very easy to do. So all we're going to do is get these diagonal points in, so from this point to this point, and from this point to this point. And these just kind of act as a reference for where this intersects will be the center of this. So I'm just going to click on this point here, and holding shift, I'm just going to wait until it says intersect, and then holding shift again, we're just going to go to about here because we're going to be adjusting this point shortly. So now what we need is sort of like the end cap of the letter, so like the triangle shape. So we're just going to hit this corner and then bring it up to this line, and then hit this corner, and then holding command and just clicking anywhere just to deselect. And then we're going to need the direct selection tool, which is the second arrow tool down here. And all we're going to do is select this path and then select this point, and then click and drag holding shift up to the point there. So now that all looks perfect. And the last thing that we need to do is now add this triangle shape, the end cap sort of thing, up here. So like we just did, all we're going to do is get the pen tool and select this corner, select the path, and then select this corner again. And with this one, we won't be able to drag the path backwards because that'll ruin the shape of the circle. So all we're going to do is select this path, and then we're going to hit C on the keyboard to get the scissors tool. And then we're just going to zoom right in. And when you get like over where the paths intersect, it'll come up saying intersect. So just click there. And now we can just hit backspace and backspace. And you'll see that that's now deleted the line that was in here. Okay, so now we've got the initial framework done, we can add the sort of semicircles to it. So I'm going to add them on the top here and on the bottom here, and you could add them on the side, but I'm just going to leave those for the sake of keeping this a bit shorter. And we're also going to add a guide here just to make it a little bit easier for ourselves. So all I'm going to do is, with this path selected so we'll be able to see where the actual anchor points are, we're just going to come over to the rulers, and if this isn't already open, just hit Command R or Control R to open the rulers. And with this path selected, I'm going to drag out a ruler to this point, and you'll see that it actually snaps and locks to it. So then you're going to come to your shape tool, and all you're going to do is come up to the top point here and wait until it says anchor in that little pink writing from the smart guides, and you're just going to hold shift and drag all the way down until you hit the other pink smart guide at the bottom here. So we've got one, then you're going to do the second one. So I'm just going to click here and hold shift, and now we can just drag these into place. Wait until it locks, and same with this one. So they're locked into place. And now what we're going to do is, with the scissors tool again, so with C on the keyboard, we're now going to hit the top and bottom point, and let's delete. So we're going to hit backspace and delete that side, which means on this circle we're deleting this side. So select this circle, top and bottom, and I'm just going to select that side and delete, and then we'll just do the exact same thing for the bottoms. Okay, so once you've done the semicircles, and like I said, you could add some here if you wanted to, but I'm just going to keep it short. So once you've got your semicircles in, I'm just going to duplicate this so we've always got a backup. So with everything selected, I'm going to click, then hit Alt and Shift and just drag, and that'll just create a duplicate. And I'm also going to turn the guides off because this is just distracting, so I'm going to do that by hitting Command and then colon, or Control colon if you're on PC. And from here, now we're going to actually turn these into shapes. So we're going to select everything, and then we're going to come over to the Shape Builder tool on the left. And with the Shape Builder tool selected, all we're going to do is select just click on every single one of these shapes. And if you did the circles correctly and they locked to the points, then they should all work fine like this. But if not, then you might see that this will leak over to like one shape like that, which you don't want to do. So if that's the case, then just get the direct selection tool and just adjust some of the points so that it works. But yeah, so I'm just going to go around now and click all of these like this. And now these should all be individual shapes. So again, I'm just going to select everything, and I'm just going to select a random color here. Actually, they've all still got a stroke on it. So again, I'm just going to select everything and then click on the stroke here, and then hit this little white box, the red line for it, to get rid of the stroke. And yeah, now we have all the individual different shapes. So this is where you can start to get creative with it and start adding your different colors in. And this is also when we're going to drag this back down behind it, because this is acted as a stroke. So we'll keep that there. And I've actually got a color palette here that I've been using for this, that I've played around with. So I'm just going to use the colors that I've been using previously. So for this background bit here, I'm just going to use the darkest sort of purpley color that I have. And for the sort of inner facing faces, so you see that like faces, so like this face, and this face are all facing that direction. So they would all be the same color. That's the idea. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. You could just be completely abstract with it, but that just tends to be how it is. So I'm just going to show you what I mean. So all the faces facing that way, I'm going to go with the orange color. And then all the faces facing this way, I'm going to have a dark purple. And then for the bottom facing pieces, I'm going to go with, in fact I think I'll keep them as they are. And then the top face, we're going to go with a lighter pink. And I think that looks quite cool and quite abstract. But again, you can completely experiment with these. You could use different shades of the same color to see what kind of effects you get there. You could go black and white. You could even add gradients to see what sort of effects that give you. And the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to give this sort of like a 3D backdrop. So all you're going to do is select the sort of the background color again, come up to Effect, Distort and Transform, Transform. And then where it says horizontal, we're going to change this to minus 0.5. And then we're going to change the vertical to 0.5. Oops. And we're just going to hit preview, and you see that nothing happens, but when you come to copies here and you just bump this up, so I'm just scrolling here, you see that it actually starts to extrude. So of course you can play with these settings. So say I move this up to 2 pixels, so that's the horizontal axis, and then the vertical axis is down here. So if I was to move this up, you see that it drops it, or alternatively move it down and that'll lift it up. But yeah, I'm just going to stick to my minus 0.5 and my 0.5. So I'm quite happy with how that looks. And let's bump the copies up to maybe, that's a bit too much. 173, I'm happy with that. So hit OK, and yeah, we're done. So yeah guys, that's it. I really do hope this tutorial's helped you, and of course, as always, if you use the tutorial and post something online, feel free to tag me in it, because it's always great to see what sort of stuff you guys come up with and how creative you get with, you know, mixing different tutorials together. I've seen some great stuff on Instagram, so yeah, make sure you tag me in those, and yeah, I'll see you soon.